Now, by whatever means, each of the 20 candidates or 20 persons that I've called out is not a duly authorized nominee of the Triple C. Their representation on our list is a forgery and it's a fraud. We're taking the necessary criminal, civil, and other steps to ensure that they're removed from our ballot. We've also been engaging ZEC. We're taking our remedies in terms of the electoral law to ensure that they're removed from the ballot. I think the last thing that I just want to make reference to is that we are firing full steam ahead. The other positive story that comes out of this, we saw other political actors and outfits failing to field enough candidates because they didn't have the funds. But thank you so much to a number of change champions who pulled money together to ensure that we didn't only have money to field our president, but also each of the candidates that stood. Obviously, in our wards, we also have a number of local authorities where they're double candidates as well, and the same legal action is being taken. But rest assured, we're on top of it. We're going to ensure that these people don't appear on the ballot. So that is all. Maybe I'll take one or two questions. I know that it's late, but if you've got a burning question, I don't want people to be firing my number at 10 p.m. I won't block anyone out. You can just identify your name, the news house you're from, and then ask one question each, and then we'll get into it. Yes.
Blessed Mhlanga, Hutchinson TV and radio. Now, I just wanted to understand, you said that this is a sting operation, but some of these names that you have actually called out are people who have been working with and for the Triple C and participated in your primary elections. Now, how do these people who have been internal become a sting operation?
They become a sting operation because they're actually victims of the fraud. If you speak to a number of them, they'll actually say, I don't know who paid the money on my behalf. So how do you explain papers filed on behalf of Blessed Mhlanga? He wasn't there. He was actually saying that I didn't participate in the process. So the question is, who filed on his behalf? We know who those people are, and we're actually making criminal reports against those people. I don't want to say too much at this point, but they certainly are still part of the sting operation. And that's what gives it a little bit of quote unquote credibility, but that's the whole essence of fraud. It remains a misrepresentation. The bottom line is the signatures that appear on that list are forged. None of our designated signatories signed those forms. The logo that appears on that form, whether you're internal or not, the logo that's being used on that form is a complete fraud. It's a forgery. So the bottom line at the end of the day is that form and that candidate submission is a complete forgery, in what we call it law, a complete invalidity, nullity, and it's going to be dealt with in terms of the objection procedure in the Electoral Act. Yes.
Effort and security SABC. You just mentioned 20 constituencies countrywide. In Harare, I think when I went to the magistrate's courts in the morning, I counted about 20. You left out Airport South, Zengeza East, Harare West. I just want to understand.
No, I did actually mention Harare West. And the 15, but yes. the bottom line is
what of the constituencies that you have left out, are you then saying those candidates do belong to the Triple C or
no? So the Triple C has filed 210 candidates. So if there's more than one, they're not our member. We filed exactly 210 duly nominated candidates. In Harare, while there are 15 constituencies represented, sometimes they put not a double candidacy, but a triple. I made reference to Harare South, for example, where there are 3. So even though 15 constituencies are represented, more people are involved in the fraud. But the bottom line is it remains a fraud. If the fraud is even greater than this, our lawyers are going to deal with it. At the end of the day, we've got a complete duplicate of our submission and our logo. So if someone has a photocopy of the logo as opposed to the real embossed thing, all of that is fraudulent. Yes, I'll take 3 more. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Rainbow Mchenja from the Newsbook. You mentioned that you filed for or maybe 1,940 words.
Approximately.
Approximately.
The full report is yet to come to the Elections Directorate. Yes.
But the NPF has already said they've won uncontested in 53 words. What's your comment on that?
I'm saying that we have at least 1,940. Our Elections Directorate will come with the full figures. But the bottom line is we've got a sizable number, especially for a party that ZANU-PF thought it had decimated. We certainly have more than any other opposition party can ever dream of. Everyone's forgotten that Monsura took all the money, took all the things. Not that that's our standard, our threshold. Our standards are a lot higher than that. But just to point out that they thought they buried us, and yet here we are. They're developing all these sting operations and losing sleep every single night to try and destroy us. They will not succeed. I'll just take two more. Yes.
Thank you. Leo Mende from newszimbabwe.com. How receptive was ZEC to your complaints over this quote-unquote fraud?
I mean, they know the law. They heard us. And the good thing about these things is you file your specimen logo in advance. And so at law, we say the evidence speaks for itself. ZEC, at the end of the day, is an administrative authority. They've got the obligation to act lawfully, reasonably, and fairly under Section 68 of the Constitution. If they fail to act in accordance with their own laws, we know the remedies that are available to us and steps will be taken. But I'm sure they have an interest in ensuring that we've got a free, fair, credible, and verifiable election. It's not in their interest to have these fraudulent submissions made, and I'm sure we'll come to an accommodation. But if we don't, we'll be left with no option but to take the remedies provided for at law. Yes.
We've been seeing doing rounds on the social media a funny political party saying something like that, more or less of a triple C with forces. Can you confirm on record that this political party is actually been duly filed at ZEC? Is it there?
Well,
or is it just social media
only ZANU-PF and Varakashi will come up with something as bogus and dubious as that. But we're aware that they're doing everything within their power to try and impersonate us, to try and forge our logo. It just won't work. The people know who their leaders are. So even if they, there was another one, or whatever it is, it won't work. Everybody, no, I'm not ZEC. Only ZEC can speak to who's filed which nominations. All I can speak for is the Triple C because that's my mandate. What I know is the Triple C has filed, the Citizens Coalition for Change Triple C, the only valid Triple C, and you can't forge our logo, you can't forge our name, has filed 210 candidates. Anyone who's trying to impersonate us, it's a sign of desperation. It's a sign of fear. It's a sign that they're at sixes and sevens. How do you try and scuttle these people? Only a party that knows it's not popular resorts to such underhanded tactics. You don't hear about this in any other country in the world. What's beyond any doubt is that ZANU-PF can never win a free and fair election in this country, which is why all these electoral malpractices are being unearthed. I'll take one more question because of our time. But if there is none.
How many of these 20 have you engaged?
Oh, we've actually done our investigations to cover all of them, especially some that are known to us. And that's actually aided our investigations. And I think by this press conference and through those engagements and in writing, we're putting them on notice that this is a forge, this is a forgery, it's a fraud, it's a crime at law. They all know the meaning of that. Certainly, they're not duly nominated candidates on behalf of the Triple C. Even if you are a change champion, if someone creates fraudulent papers and says this is for Fadzai Here, I may be a change champion all I want, but at the end of the day, someone has perpetrated a fraud. I'm not saying the named person's perpetrated the fraud, but someone has perpetrated a fraud, and I think the law is very clear about who carries out the investigations in that regard, and we'll present the evidence that we have to the police and other state institutions, especially ZEC, to ensure that the position is rectified. We can't go to the election on the basis of lies. We simply won't tolerate that. We've worked so hard to ensure that this precise double candidate thing doesn't happen, and the only thing that ZANU-PF could come up with is to forge our papers. In the olden days, they try and infiltrate, they pay our signatories, but now they've resorted to forgery because they could not get to the signatories. They simply didn't have that information because it was a closely guarded, redacted pool of information. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming at late notice, and we'll continue to engage. And the key thing, I think when all is said and done, is it's election time. We are about to launch the biggest campaign that's been seen this side of, the continent. It's going to be big, it's going to be massive. The citizens are going to be happy, everyone's going to be participating. It's going to be jubilant, it's going to be fire. Those who saw our by-election campaign, that was nothing. That was just what President Nelson Chamisa calls an appetizer. We are ready to hit the ground running. And so we're so excited. And I think the last thing I'll say is we have to celebrate a lot of the new faces, new ideas we saw. We saw a lot of new young women, a lot of professionals, a lot of fresh faces, young men, community leaders who were on that list. And that's what the story should be. not the sting operation, where once our lawyers have dealt with it, we're not going to focus on it anymore because we have one job and one job only to do, and that's to win Zimbabwe for change. Thank you very much.
Naumva nongumema idzinza akunakidza. Dzidza akuviringwanisu manje nguwa iyo.
Takudzisota.
Ya, unonzwa manje. Takudzima kuti maswera sei mhuri yeZimbabwe. Nhau dzichiverengwa naChikavangwena. Ndina vamhazo pasign language. Mutungamiri wenyika vari zvakare mukuru wemauto emuchadenga nepasi vaNelson Chamisa vaperekedzwa pandandare yendege uko kwanga vachienda kumusangano wenyika dzepasi rose kuAddis Ababa, Ethiopia nhasi mangwanani.
Tauda seya.
Apa nenda kuvhura rimwe page mufano wangu.
Rimwe page
rinhau.
Yeah. Wewe mune mapeji mangana?
Apa. Kana tisina nhau musiwo ndine 40.
40 ndwakuti mashomera.
Ako mabasa anenge awanda kabasa.
Kupa munoti
takuverenga nhau dzibasa. Kana kuma 70 something.
Yeah.
Mapage.
Mabasa riripo. Taitandara.
Inzongo tisatambisa nguwa yapera. Unonzwa kuti vaimbova mutungamiri wenyika nemuteedzeri wavo vaEmmerson Mnangagwa naChiwengwa vamiswa pamberi pedare nhasi, asi mumhosva yanga vachipomerwa yekumbonyikidza nyika neutsotsi vanyimwa bhero nhasi.
Bail out.
Ewe, kana zendezoti umpati ntambo uye Emerson unianzani uNelson Chamisa indege.
Indizamchina.
Bezazi chokwadi.
Zimashwashwa.
Kuti nyika yese idzidze.
Vanhu vese vazive.
Ya, kuti tichikuita zvekusimudzira nyika kwete zvekutamba nenyika.
Tamba nenyika.
Tiite izvozvo. Naumva nongumema idzinza akunakidza. Dzidza akuviringwanisu manje nguwa iyo.
Takudzisota.
Ya, unonzwa manje. Takudzima kuti maswera sei mhuri yeZimbabwe. Nhau dzichiverengwa naChikavangwena. Ndina vamhazo pasign language. Mutungamiri wenyika vari zvakare mukuru wemauto emuchadenga nepasi vaNelson Chamisa vaperekedzwa pandandare yendege uko kwanga vachienda kumusangano wenyika dzepasi rose kuAddis Ababa, Ethiopia nhasi mangwanani.
Tauda seya.
Apa nenda kuvhura rimwe page mufano wangu.
Rimwe page
rinhau.
Yeah. Wewe mune mapeji mangana?
Apa. Kana tisina nhau musiwo ndine 40.
40 ndwakuti mashomera.
Ako mabasa anenge awanda kabasa.
Kupa munoti makapresa.
Takuverenga nhau dzibasa. Kana kuma 70 something.
Yeah.
Mapage.
Mabasa riripo. Taitandara.
Inzongo tisatambisa nguwa yapera. Unonzwa kuti vaimbova mutungamiri wenyika nemuteedzeri wavo vaEmmerson Mnangagwa naChiwengwa vamiswa pamberi pedare nhasi, asi mumhosva yanga vachipomerwa yekumbonyikidza nyika neutsotsi vanyimwa bhero nhasi.
Bail out.
Ewe, kana zende uzoti umpati intambo uye masoni uni anzani une usoni chamisa inteke
Indizamchina.
Bezazi chokwadi.
Zimashwashwa.
Kuti nyika yese idzidze.
Vanhu vese vazive.
Ya, kuti tichikuita zvekusimudzira nyika kwete zvekutamba nenyika.
Tamba nenyika.
Tiite izvozvo.
Oyere, 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 yere mamsai, zinonziokoye, simosa, helelelelele.
Oh yeah, Blessed Studio.
Presteni samisa oye, apana sisaba misa. Apana sisaba misa. Presteni samisa oye, apana sisaba misa. Apana sisaba misa. Inengo eSimbabwe yagaravara vasvirawe. Apana sisaba misa. Mutsungamiri wetsinzauro hakuna atsazvisisa. Apana sisaba misa. Today yango achisamba masisa. Yeah, Zimbabwe yese Chamisa, cause the boat is on Chamisa. All the worldwide, comrade Nelson in Chamisa. My boy be all the while. Announcement Kupisa, you're taking on the funds. Zimbabwe is my butter. If you take a look around, side, President is Chamisa. Apana sisaba misa. Apana sisaba misa. President is Chamisa. Apana sisaba misa. Apana sisaba misa. Inengo eSimbabwe yagaravara vasvirawe. Apana sisaba misa. Mutsungamiri wetsinzauro apana atsazvisisa. Apana sisaba misa. Chamisa, do me something. Yeah, Chamisa, do me something. Yeah, I say Chamisa, do me something. Yeah, Chamisa, do me something. Let me tell you something. If you know something. Yeah, about President Chamisa. I say, let me tell you something. If you know nothing, yeah, about President Chamisa. Cause the world is on Chamisa. All the worldwide, comrade Nelson in Chamisa. My boy be all the while. Announcement in Kupisa. You're taking all the funds. Zimbabwe is my butter. If you take a look around, side, President is Chamisa. Apana sisaba misa. Apana sisaba misa. President is Chamisa. Apana sisaba misa. Apana sisaba misa. Inengo eSimbabwe yagaravara vasvirawe. Apana sisaba misa. Mutsungamiri wetsinzauro hakuna atsazvisisa. Apana sisaba misa.
nawo mfana wangu mai dzenza akunakidza dzidza akuverengwa nesu manje nguwa iyo
takudzisota
ya unonzwa manje takudzirema kuti maswera sei mhuri yezimbabwe nhau dzichiverengwa nachikava ngwena ndina vamhazo pasign language mutungamiri wenyika vari zvakare mukuru wemauto emuchadenga nepasi vaNelson Chamisa vaperekedzwa pandandare yendege uko kwanga vachienda kumusangano wenyika dzepasi rose kuAddis Ababa Ethiopia nhasi mangwanani.
tauda seya
Apa nenda kuvhura rimwe page mufano wangu
imwe peji
rinhau
mune mapeji mangana
apa kana tisina nhau musiwo ndine 40
40 ndovangoti mashomera
ako mabasa anenge awanda kabasa
kopa munoti
takuverenga nhau dzibasa kana kuma 70 something mapage
mabasa riripo taitandara
inzongo tisatamise nguva yapere unonzwa kuti vaimbova mutungamiri wenyika nemuteedzeri wavo vaEmerson Mnangagwa naChiwengwa vamiswa pamberi pedare nhasi asi mumhosva yanga vachipomerwa yekumbonyikidza nyika nehutsotsi vanyimwa bhero nhasi iwe kana zendeudzoti umpadii ntambo uye masoni unianzani uNelson Chamisa indege
indizamuchina
ezazvechokwadi
dzimashuwashuwa
kuti nyika yese idzidze
vanhu vese vazive
ya kuti tichikuita zvekusimudzira nyika kwete zvekutamba nenyika
tamba nenyika
tiite izvozve.